Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I will be doing a review on this 2007 Honda Pilot. I'll tell you what we absolutely loved about this vehicle, how it was the perfect family vehicle for us. I'll also tell you about the tragic ending. Well, I guess it's not that tragic, but financially it felt a little bit tragic. I'll tell you about a huge flaw in this vehicle. This is still, in my opinion, an absolutely amazing vehicle, even with this significant flaw, and I'll walk through all of that with us today. So here's a little information on it. This is a 2007 Honda Pilot. It's the two-wheel drive. This is the EXL, which means that it is sort of the medium end that they would sell these vehicles on. Honda doesn't give you a whole lot of choices, sort of a low end, medium end, higher end. And if you were looking at one of these, maybe you're trying to buy a used one, you could pause it right here and see some of the different equipment that comes with this. But the big thing that we were looking for is the very low end one had cloth seats. We went ahead and got the one step up that came with the leather seats. Now, mind you, it's not real leather. It's like synthetic sort of plastic leather, if you will. And however, we had young kids at the time, and we really wanted to make sure that all those messes would be easy to clean up. So over these last, well, what's it been? Almost 2007, 14 years-ish. We put on 187,000 miles on this vehicle. Now, I am very good about doing my maintenance. Actually, I'll explain at the end of the video how it kind of bit me and how I made a small mistake and things didn't quite go my way. And that was a really, really big setback in this vehicle. But again, let's stick to the positive here. It was a fantastic vehicle for that 187,000 miles. And basically with oil changes, transmission fluid changes, and those other maintenances, it did really well. So again, it's a two-wheel drive vehicle. We did use this vehicle a little bit for towing, not a tremendous amount. As far as gas mileage went, it's not fantastic. It's not amazing. I would guess roughly that we got about 20 miles per gallon on this vehicle. This is sort of a medium-sized SUV, maybe even a medium-large, but closer to a medium. It does have a third row, and we'll dive into that in some pictures coming up here in just a little bit. However, we loved it. This is the Nimbus Gray, and I like the body style on it. I still think today it is up to date enough that it doesn't look ridiculous, if you will. Now, if you were going to buy one of these, one of the tips I would give you is that this paint sometimes can start to fade. And where that fade can start is above that windshield is a very common place. So up kind of on the roof there. So take a look up there and you can see. Now for me, I wax this vehicle a couple times a year, and I especially waxed it in those areas that I thought would be more prone to having damage from the sun. And I think that really helped a lot. So this one really did not have any of that fading that you can sometimes see on these Honda Pilots. Once that fading starts and really kind of starts to spread, it's pretty hard to slow down, but you can prevent it by waxing that vehicle. And my vehicle was never kept indoors. It was always outside, but again, waxing it, I think definitely helped out. So you can see here, it's a nice size vehicle. I really loved it because it fit all three of our kids, and we could even throw the dog in there too. The second row of seats is comfortable. The third row of seats is, I'm gonna call medium comfortable. So our little kids enjoyed going back into those almost like jumper seats, and I'll show you some pictures of those in a few minutes. And again, here's a few more shots of some of the different areas on the vehicle. And again, if you're looking at one of these used to purchase for maybe a son or a daughter or something like that, I think it's an absolutely fantastic vehicle for that. Take a look, make sure it's not fading with the paint. Check that transmission fluid, ask them if they've changed that transmission fluid and how often. I think that's a huge one for this vehicle. This one still has a transmission dipstick, and that is huge. I can't believe that new vehicles don't have that. And for the towing, we paid a little bit more and asked them to put on the towing package, which did include a transmission cooler and maybe a few other bells and whistles under the hood to help out with that towing. Turns out we had a pop-up tent trailer. We probably used it a grand total of 5 times. It towed okay with it. Not fantastic. It kind of felt like it was sort of herky-jerky when we were towing things around, even things that were not all that heavy. And I believe it was really a nice vehicle. Again, 2007, so the headlights are just starting to fade a little bit. I tried to keep them as clean as I could and take care of them maintenance-wise, but this is about the age where they start to sort of fade out and do those kinds of things. So On the interior, this is they call it leather. It's not. It's like the synthetic leather. Unfortunately, what that means is the seats aren't quite as comfortable when they go to the synthetic leather. They're a little bit stiffer, and I didn't love that. My wife and I would kind of complain about that, but not a huge complaint. Not a huge complaint, but the seats were medium. Another thing to think about on this one is it did have a little bit of road noise, and that was a common complaint on the internet, and I guess it's a true one. It never really bothered us a whole lot. The entertainment system worked fantastic, air conditioner, all of those things still work absolutely perfect to date. Well, I sold it a few months ago, but they were all working perfect. The automatic windows, the electric seats, so all the buttons on the seats to maybe move forward, backward, all those adjustments all worked great. Air conditioning still blowing ice cold. Really, really nice vehicle. This is one in particular that I would have loved to see my kids grow into and use. However, again, I'm going to tell you the flaw in this vehicle and why I ended up selling the vehicle. So going back to the middle seat, again, it's a pretty good amount of room right here. Now, I'm taking these pictures right after I wash the car, so I think the seats might be a little bit further back than they normally are, but it's a good amount of room back there. The car seats fit back there, absolutely no problem. And we had like the larger Britex card seats, and they still fit back there, absolutely no problems at all. And you can even see I still have the headrests off in the second row of seats, which is only because we had car seats back there, the large car seats. And then that third row that I'll show you here in just a second, you can take a look and compare it. There's that second row, and we'll take a look at the third row. But the third row is kind of the leg room isn't there, and also the spacing for your feet. There's that third row right there. The spacing for your feet, it kind of makes your feet a little higher and therefore your knees a little higher. Again, the kids didn't mind it at all. And those seats, by the way, fold down and fold up very, very easily. So we'd almost always have them folded down, or maybe one of them up. So you can make it a configuration so one's up and two are down, or two are down and one is up. So again, a really nice vehicle for that third row. We have a family of 5, and this vehicle fit us, but we were pretty snug in it. We kind of always have a bunch of stuff with us. We have a dog as well. I'm showing you a picture of this seat. This was the only flaw on the inside, is that where I would get in and out of the vehicle, a common place for that leather to tear, it was starting to tear. All right, now my friends, I will show you the flaw. Are you ready? So what you're looking at right now is the vehicle had died, and it pulled up this code right here, P0340. And I'm just kind of showing that one like, oh, this is me trying to diagnose it. And here's what the actual problem was. That, and something that Honda, boy, if you ever see this video, please listen. You have an interference engine here. And now we have a timing belt instead of a timing chain. My opinion is that is the perfect storm for an engine. We are just waiting for catastrophic damage. So how can you avoid that? You can see right here, here's the timing belt covers that I took off to check. And of course, yep, that's what it was. The timing belt gave way that caused the timing to be off. So what happens is you can either have a chain or a timing belt. I am convinced that one of the reasons Toyota is just dominating in the reliability category is they tried going to belts, and they quickly went right back to most of their engines being built with timing chains. The chains last way, way longer, and probably the life of the vehicle, where the belts don't. The belts you need to change somewhere between 80 and 90,000 miles, somewhere in that ballpark. You need to check on your maintenance of your particular vehicle to see exactly what it is. But on this one here, the belt that actually broke had less than, or roughly 60,000 miles. It might have been a little bit more, maybe 64,000 miles before that belt actually broke. When that belt broke, because it's an interference engine, the valves collided with the pistons, causing catastrophic damage, and basically cost me over $5,000 to fix. I fixed it. It ended up working absolutely perfect. However, my wife and I were looking at each other saying, you know what? I think that is a sign to sell the vehicle. I still think this is probably going to be on the road for another 10 years. It's probably going to do fantastic as long as the new owner changes that timing belt, takes care of the transmission fluid, and those kinds of things. So here's my overall rating on this vehicle. If you were going to buy one of these, check the transmission fluid. See if you can get some service records. Did they change that fluid or not? Secondly, when is the last time that timing belt was changed? And where did they change it? Do we feel like it was really changed? Did they use a quality belt? I did not know this at the time, but the factory belts are much higher quality than it looks like the belt that I had put in. I went to a reputable shop, they put in a belt they recommended, but at the same time, when all was said and done, the mechanic who actually fixed it said, hey, this belt wasn't as high of a quality. That's why it went out at a little bit lower mileage than we expected. But again, the long and short is, it was a fantastic vehicle for my family. Family of 5 or smaller, I think it's a home run grand slam. But again, interference engine, and it has a timing belt. So be very smart with that. Also the transmission fluid, make sure that that has been serviced with a drain and fill on those regular maintenance, And if that's the case and the oil looks clean and, of course get it checked out by a mechanic, but those are the kinds of things I would be looking for. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed this review and I have a tear in my eyes. I've said goodbye to this vehicle. However, I've added on a Toyota Tundra to take its place. So if this video helped you out, hey, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.